then damn stressed. Go and type. Then later you ask him another 4 questions again. I tell you I'm stressed. You might as well you just ask me on the spot. Okay. So, you, dancer. Then you do all the... No, in front. What's the key difference between neoliberalism and liberalism? When I say that, you don't get excited. Wait. This one. Key difference. Big picture. Neoliberalism is about financialization, it's very market focused, it's about creating jobs with the NIEs, but it rarely allows for individuality. For liberalism, individuality is allowed and they advocate for complete free market. Okay. Neoliberalism is a policy model that encompasses both politics and economics and seeks to transfer the control of economic factors from the public sector to the private sector, whereas liberalism is a political and moral philosophy based on liberty, consent, and the governance and the equality before the law. Okay. Theoretically, both are correct, but then there's something that you need to take it out now and say, okay, I think there's something that is happening in the world that the theory didn't apply. That's how you score marks. I'll tell you first. Theoretically, it's like that. But what happened in reality, you must also state for you to tease out the nuance and why we are in a state of chaos or constant, uncertainty. So, can I ask you, what's the key difference there? Based on all these that you have written, you have read, what is the key difference there? Panic, never mind. Just say pass. Don't say pass. It's okay. Don't just look behind. Don't worry. Oh, you cannot see the comments. Okay. Maybe you look at Yong Seng first. Neoliberalism is about financialization and it's very market focused. It is about creating jobs with the NIEs, Asian NIEs, but it rarely allows for individuality. Liberalism, individuality is allowed and advocate for complete free market. That's a question she's asking actually. But I thought it would be a statement. Never mind. So Prem said neoliberalism is a policy model that encompasses both politics and economics and seeks to transfer the control of economic factors from the public sector to the private sector. Whereas liberalism is a political and moral philosophy based on liberty, consent of the governed and the equality before the law. So when you say financialization, right, what happened in the process then? I can't hear you. It starts with C. When you have compliance, right, what do you gather? It's another C also. No. When you have compliance, right, what did the government do to us when we are complying? And then you guys are like, when he say this next word C, you guys are like, yeah, we are liberals. Good. I love PAP, but actually, you know what? They screw you on individuality. Start with C. Neoliberalism is focused on globalization, while liberalism is focused on domestic entrepreneurship. Yeah, it starts with C. Whatever you are saying, right? One, you're very clear about liberalism is individual capacity building, individuality. Correct. You all know that very well. You all are liberals, but you all are very unhappy. Although the world is a neoliberal world, you're like, it's not what I'm getting. I'm not able to express myself. And even if I express myself, my voice becomes very small. or my voice is not heard, nobody gives a shit about me. Okay? So what is it? Conformity, competition? No, not that. No, not those. Okay. Welcome to a more screwed life in a while. Not I say one. Singapore's GIC set to manage extra 137 billion in reserve. And when you click there, you can't, Bloomberg, you can't see, you have to pay. So I'm not gonna pay. But you look at the headlines, you know already. What is it? It's relating to what we have been discussing. What is it that after they win the election, after 1 year plus, it's still going on for this? What is it? It starts with C. Complying, but at the domestic level, at the international level, complying. At the domestic level, you operationalize everything like military, and what is it? No, not consolidate. They consolidate power, yes. But how do you consolidate that power? When they tell you, and you seem to like, it makes sense, Singapore will be peaceful and stable. No. You sure agree when you listen, yeah, what he makes sense. Huh? No. Your parents will be like, yeah, correct. Why your young people want to rock the boat? Centralization, comfort, conglomerate, corruption. No, no corruption. What is it? And I would tell you that's the main problem that led to the inequality. We do not have poverty now. That's the main problem in China also. They're out of poverty, but they suffer from inequality. That's the problem in Vietnam also. They are richer now, but the inequality also. Okay, that's the problem in Malaysia also. Okay, they have moved out of poverty, but they're stuck in the middle income track. And on top of it, you have inequality. That's the problem with India also, become richer, but you still see women are treated unfairly most of the time. To me, right, I see a lot of Indian women are better than the Indian guys, but the men always have a better standing than the women in India. You try that in Singapore, you see what happens. Aware will come, like, you stupid man, I kill you. But in India, you don't have all these things. So what is it that Lee Hsien Loong, when he transfer, MAS is under the Prime Minister office, just to let you know. It's not under the Ministry of Finance like it used to be. MAS transferred to GIC. MAS is under Prime Minister office. Transferred to GIC, and he's the chairman of GIC. So he transferred from his right department, the right-hand man, to the left-hand man. Okay? So he chaired that meeting, both meeting. You will transfer to this one, okay? You come out this piece of paper, okay? This piece of paper. Okay, what you do, you roll out bonds, then you raise money. We will underwrite the bonds. But yeah, bonds. Then we are going to announce this. We cannot delay this anymore. We have to have this already. What is it to the people? You all must bite the bullet. So you use one person called Indrani Raja. What did she say? We can look at the timing. We can look at the timing of this to help you feel not so pain. What is that? GST, my friend. GST is going to put the money in the reserves again. After you take out 137, you need someone to put it back, right? So who's going to put it back? You. Was that? Not 1 year, 137 billion. Over a course of 10 years, perhaps. Okay? Or 15 years. So in the meantime, you transfer 137 first. Then every year it goes in perhaps don't know how many billion. Okay? Then with other taxes increase, the coffer will automatically go back up. What's that? I can't hear you. I haven't tell you yet, of course. I haven't tell you yet. Capitalism, of course, it's capitalism. But they always say this to you. See, okay, there are two words there. One is see, the other one is what? C and A. Not CIA, C and then A. But then the inequality in this country, it's actually quite bad. With the GST, right, it's going to be bad. But they say they're going to give you a voucher, blah, blah, blah. You know, but I can tell you for sure, the rich are going to get richer. The poor will remain poor, but they will be given vouchers. So they are taking care of the bottom few percent and the top few percent. The one in the middle, the broader middle now, not the middle only, the broader middle. That means the upper middle class and the lower middle class and the middle class, they are going to struggle very badly. Okay, and they say, no, you need to have skill. But the system is, it's not about skill. The system is to produce bureaucrats and politicians. That's not skill at all. The system is about the next election, the 5-year program, the East Coast plan, maybe the next one called West Coast plan. And after that, the don't know what plan, Okay, so they are not planning for the next generation. Maybe he said GIC is planning for the next generation. But we do not know. Because GIC is not under the purview of Parliament. It's a private limited company. The Minister for Finance has no right, although the Ministry of Finance owns 100% of it, it has no right to interfere or intervene in its investment decision. Okay? So you can say that, but then you're putting our reserves into the hand where you have no right to scrutinize. So very interesting. So, but then in the meantime, they're telling you this. If you don't, right, they'll send Chan Chun Sing in. Hello? You don't take vaccine or not? You don't take vaccine, is it? You don't take vaccine, you're going to get into trouble. Okay? Then you send another military woman inside as the chief of, don't know, whatever, in the administration of the MOD as well. So everything they, what is this thing called? C and A. I type it out, you all will slap yourself, you know. He always say this word. Then everybody's like, yeah, stability. You all don't do this. Don't go against this. You go against this, Singapore will collapse. But which is not true. When this does not happen anymore, then you can have what you want, called liberalism, individuality. Well, now nobody typing anymore. Challenging authority. No. No, he's asking you to do this, not to do challenging authority. He's never asked you to challenge authority. Opposite of challenging authority is what? Yeah, so I must I must tell Siqie opposite. Siqie want to tell me opposite. What is the opposite of challenging authority? Give out or not? Give out or not? Give out or not? Give out or not? Something like that. Communitarianism. Something like that. Very similar to it. Yes. Yeah? No, not community. Wow, you all believe it. And the unions also believe it. You You are very different from your parents, because you all like have this trip. What's that? I thought this is something that you all cannot. You're accepting, but yes, correct, Felicia. Wow, Felicia, I buy you coffee, online. Collective action. Don't you hear this word very frequently? Can you? He's still saying it. He's still doing it. Collective action. Collective action domestically, compliant internationally. You know how screwed is that? You have no chance for your individual capacity building. Even if you have, right? If you're not part of the scheme, you have to go somewhere else. And you see that's why people immigrate, because they find it a what? Like they're resisting or become anti-establishment when you are not part of the collective action. You call yourself an outlier altogether. Okay, so as much as they tell the teachers to inspire the student, inspire the student, but you everything collective action. There is no space for individual freedom. Okay, so collective action is not a bad thing, only when you want to push forward very quickly. Correct, yes, that's very good. But not at this point when you're already developed with all the infrastructure and you're looking for software rather than hardware. Software is not about collective action anymore. Okay? Building software is about working with people. Collective action, there's a hierarchy. You work for people. You work for the bureaucratic organization. Individual capacity building is working with people. So you develop many complementary assets. That's the other class that I teach. What is complementary asset? That means like-minded people come together, create kind of cooperative, and start a business. Okay? And from there, they raise funds, they call startups, crowdfunding, and all these things, they do it. But they will always face problems. Why? Because the bureaucratic system is so rigid, right? That the moment you pass that limit, right, they say, no, this is not for us. Give you a great example. There's this company called Binance, cryptocurrency. He has to leave Singapore altogether. Because the government's collective action, compliance with international norms, gives him so much space on it. There's a limit to it. So this guy, he going around, I think go France, I think he's going to another country, I'm not too sure. Apparently he was from China, but I think he did a great job. Okay, but for me, I don't care whether you come from whatever you are. But this guy is really fantastic. He got a great mind. As much as they say they want to draw foreign talent, at the same time have collective action. So a lot of foreign talent find themselves not so talented anymore the moment they come here. So they go somewhere else and be more foreign and more talented. Okay, that is our system. So we do not retain talent. Unlike Silicon Valley, a lot of foreign talent, where you have a chance not for collective action, for yourself to try. Even you fail, you stand up and you walk again. Down here you fail, you can stand up and walk, but you keep knocking the wall all the time. Okay, unless you are going to comply with the bureaucratic system, which means to say you are maybe a developer or building material, going to supply materials to HDB. That's sort of bullshit. Not really that kind of world that we are looking at. The metaverse world of cryptocurrency, blockchain, or no chance at all. No chance. Okay? But if you ask me, right, Singapore has a lot of talent. But because of this bureaucratic organization of neoliberalism, collective action, you put a ceiling. The ceiling is not high. The ceiling is low, unfortunately. Okay? To individuals. So on the outside, when people see Singapore from the outside. It's a beautiful, stable political stability. They always ask, why are you complaining? Why are you complaining? Why don't you just study and be good? So the whole idea here, now the world has changed. The whole compliance has changed. So the bureaucracy needs to change dramatically. That is why they draw the reserves out first, to put under GIC for one reason. And if there's a change of government, GIC handles the money, not the opposition or any fourth generation leader who is corrupt. Can be corrupt, cannot be corrupt. The money is out of the reserves. Now, this is the biggest worry of Lee Kuan Yew. That any government of the day will draw on the reserve and start to do nonsense. I don't want to say it, but since I'm at it, I will say it. Start to be corrupt. Okay? We have got patronage. All kinds of corruption can seep into the system. So before that can happen, you put into GIC, and GIC, Lee Hsien Loong is going to step down. He's doing what his father did. When he stepped down, he became the chairman. He oversees it. So he's going to shoulder that responsibility. So Lee Kuan Yew did from 1990 to 2008, collapse of the Lehman Brothers. He said, okay. But now Lee Hsien Loong is doing what the father did. A lot of money from the reserve to GIC, and he's going to go for the next phase of development. So he's making himself the minister mentor, so to speak, just overseeing the politics and just mentoring them, the fourth generation. It's not a good or bad thing. I'm not saying this. I hope you all understand what his way of thinking, and what the opposition will say. You know what? Why you give it to him? Why don't you get it under Parliament to scrutinize all the reserve and expenditure? But Parliament can actually collude, and politicians make money out of it, and the people suffer. That could also happen. So there are two ways to look at it. There's no one fixed rule here. Okay, so collective action, along the way, there are trade-offs. Collective action, if you are not, your skills are not right for that industry, you're not selected, then you are out of the system. Yes. Yes. You do not allow them to really reach their maximum potential. That is one form of inequality. Okay? So if you look at a badminton player, Loh Kuan Yew, right? If he's not mad enough, right, he will not be able to achieve what he wants to achieve. If you just take a pragmatic view, okay, now I just go and study with Republic Poly, get my diploma. Basically, you rob him of his opportunity in life. There are many people like that out there. We do not see only. Now we only see the successful one. Yeah, I was in sports, I would know. There are many people. There was a group of 15 people in squash when we were world number 16, world number 6. 15 people to train, to continue to take over. Right? All 15 quit. Even they get scholarship, go England, come back, also quit. Because they don't see that idea of sports as an industry. Okay, so until now, Edwin Tong is talking like sports is not an industry. It's a prestige to win. What's that? Yeah, but that's the main thing. Would she join politics if it's not for dollars and cents? Would you just stand down there and question Pritam Singh for 9 hours for free? Would you do that? So it's the same one. You tell people this, then why don't you do the same? It's a prestige. You're serving your country. Why don't you do 9 hours for free? Why is it that this Goh Chok Tong must say that the people below 500,000 is mediocre? This one, he didn't get anything. World class. How then? You see, that's the thing about collective action. It's only important when there's a crisis. But it is not good for development. Okay? I mean broad-based development. So like I said to you, you do not have to be like people. Collective action is be like people. You follow best practices, collective action. You are trying to be like people. But there is a paradigm shift out there. China doesn't want to be like America. Cannot be anymore. America don't want to deal with China. So what kind of best practices are we going to have now? Indonesia wants to come out on its own. Okay? India wants to come out with its own. Europe want to have their own standards. Then how? That's when your collective action might be holding, but your compliance not making any impact at all. Then the people have collective action are waiting for you. Hey, hello, when are you going to get out of the job? Hey, when? I already learned everything already, no. Sorry. The world has changed. Collective action again. Skill development fund. Learn new skills. Then everybody like, hey, idiot, I'm 30 plus, 40 already, no, still learn new skills. 60 over years old? Still have to work, but no, you have to have new skill. Then how you tell me? Doesn't make sense. So, but the real retirement, the means to retirement is individual skill. If you have the skill of your own, you no need to retire. If you are a great author, you can write a lot of books, you sell books. You care whether the government, what skill, there's a disruption in publishing, or it have become electronic from physical books, you don't care because you are the skill in writing. Okay? If you are a good coach, like Mourinho or Alex Ferguson, whether there is what kind of electronics, technology, he's still a good coach. Right? So if you are a good chef, technology actually is to your advantage, not your disadvantage. Why? Because the artificial intelligence can be better than the person who chopped the onion and garlic. You can sell more food. So if you really look at the liberals' perspective, your individual skill actually is the retirement fund for you, not the CPF. Because that is collective action. Tomorrow they want to raise the minimum sum to 300,000. What are you going to do? It's an institutional arrangement. Parliament say GIC, money goes to GIC, what can you do? Why don't you give it back to the people, $137 billion? Why don't? No, we're thinking long term. Long-term legitimacy of the PAP. Long-term individual skills of the people that they can survive on their own and develop new industries, which is also long-term. There are two ways to look at long-term. Okay? So it is very clear-cut that they want to continue with this bureaucratic system where everything will be technocracy. Okay? And I'm afraid the young people will still be disillusioned because the good jobs are not going to be here. What do you mean by good job? The good job is actually coming from you, not from people. So if your attitude, the paradigm shift is like that, you don't work for people, you work with people. So you go to a company, you want to work with a company. And then only you are able to express yourself. Work, going to office is not a work. Going to office becomes a hobby. It's very enlightening. Okay? So a lot of people ask me, hey, but you teach, no full-time. I don't teach full-time. I'm a stockbroker at night full-time. That's my full-time job. If teaching is a full-time, you make money, you will never get rich, I'm telling you. But I like to do this. Why I like to do this? Because whatever I learn from the stock market, I tell you, then it reinforces whatever. And I can show you all those things there. Whatever I'm teaching you is, whether geopolitics or whatever, is related to the financial market. It is not theoretical. So every time when I see something that is like whatever you type is very theoretical, I can straight away find a gap and say, but in reality, is it like that? Where is the reality? The market is the reality. So the real thing is for you to learn the skill is not the school, not the institution. You know where's the place that you should learn your skill? Where should you learn your skill? No, not just stock market. Not just stock market. If you are in, let's say, logistics, You want to do logistic, warehousing, you got to be in the market, in that market. And when in the market, please do not move to another market, don't be influenced by the Straits Times telling you transferable skill. Bullshit, I'm telling you. This transferable skill within the industry is okay. But transferable skill, some people, their CV very, very flamboyant. Wow, property agent, insurance, part-time tutor, Grab driver, building contractor, everything also they can. No, I'm a one-stop solution. What you want? I got a lot of connects. Got a lot of connection. I know a lot of people. But people look at him, why is he hit and run? So you have no knowledge of one industry properly. Okay? So as much as you are going out there in the workforce, be prepared for one sector. What is that sector? Ask yourself. What is that sector that will help you to stay in there for good? Is there a sector that you like to stay in there for good? Maybe you want to be an artist. Doesn't matter. You want to be a musician? Hey, that is in you, like your spirit, no? You won't die one. Yeah, neoliberalism is the one that caused a lot of this problem. It's not liberalism. The government say liberalism is a problem. But neoliberalism has its limitation and it's causing the problem that the young are not able to discover themselves. The real skill is self-discovery, not what you see, follow trend here, follow trend, people turn metaverse, okay, now metaverse. Facebook, okay, Facebook. IT. You're not discovering about yourself. The real skill that comes from you. You look at all successful people. It's all based on self-discovery. It's got nothing to do what people follow the 7 habits of successful people. That doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. A lot of people go that way. Your mother will buy you thick sets of books to read that way. Okay? But if we do not have collective action and individually, we know our capability, we create our own small business or whatever, a service provider, a gig economy, whatever, inequality will be reduced. Because you are by default different from another person. But if it's collective action, there will be a race to the bottom in terms of pricing. So now if all of you go and study data analysis, pivot table, in 3 years' time, there will be an oversupply, right? Then what happens? Inequality comes in. Yes. That's why the world become 1991 all the way to now. The inequality has actually worsened. And who's getting the most profit? MNCs. MNCs get the most money. The bureaucrats and the politicians happy, just put the money in the pocket only. Why? They don't have to worry like you have to worry that your skills might be obsolete. But at the same time, the news that comes out and tell you be part of that collective action, be part of that collective action. The world treasures and appreciates Singapore's political stability. The world appreciates Singapore being a safe and very stable. But stable doesn't mean equal. Stable means control of the government is tight. Doesn't mean it's equal. Okay? So Myanmar can be stable, but every day they can be shooting people outside without the media knowing. They can kill people, then the world come, then the military, stable, that's it. But it doesn't mean it's equal. Okay, so we have passed that, but the problem is we cannot really allow ourselves to discover ourselves. For me, right, I told you already, my thesis, I take my own sweet time. You should be studying at your own sweet time. Remember this. Not study like, oh, my friend 2 years finished. Oh, the father says she damn smart. What? Study 2 years means very smart. So 1.5 years, very, very smart. So 1 year, genius. 6 months, wow. Last night he dreamt of God. All the answers came out, can go for exam. 3 days, Jesus Christ. Is it? So learning, so ladies and gentlemen, learning is not about timing. You know what is the real timing that you should do? The only timing that you should do is, you know what or not? You time yourself for the right time when the market arises that your skills become relevant. So for example, I give you, so when I write my book, right, I take my own sweet time, right, and I find that the time when the weakest point of the PAP, where is the weakest point of the PAP? When the world economy is not stable. Then you tell the story, then people think that collective action is bullshit, right? But when the PAP is strong, you go and attack them for what? Sure, you get one slap, pump. You see, he's stupid, he's very idiot, it's a very idiot. Okay? So, remember this, even if you do not like the subject, you just learn it and take your own sweet time. People always ask me, hey, should I take this subject? No, take this subject. Hey, hello, what do you like? If you like it, take your own sweet time. I'm telling you, there's no teacher that tell you this, no. You know why not? All the teachers come on, the exam's coming in October. Come on, get ready now, warm up. Okay? Ready? Ready. I went through it, I know. Some people take a longer time. Some people are visual learners, no. Like me, I'm a visual learner, no. I must see 4P first, no. I still haven't seen it. No. I always ask them, I haven't seen it. Then until one day, I saw it already. Okay, keep quiet. So do not compete in timing, please. Trust me. You only tell yourself, I'm discovering myself. But don't keep discovering until you go to the grave still discovering. Okay? Then you say next life, then I discover. What I'm saying that you discover means there's one subject that you sure like one. That is your inflection point. You know how I started reading? I hate reading when I was a boy. I hated reading. What Straits Time? What? My God, GDP. So I told my mother, you want me to read? Okay, you want me to read? I tell you, you buy me this book. Let me the book. You want me to read? Then she told my father, your son wants to buy football magazine. He thought what, porn magazine? So my father bought me one cartoon and magazine. I read about football. They describe football games. Damn exciting, man. Then he said, you know what? Then he knows already. You know this one I capture him already. You know what? Football got history. Got history. Okay. The English Premier League got history. Okay. Then in England, they got this culture. I start to imagine. So maybe next time you study hard, you go England and study. Oh, is it? Yeah, okay. Then you can travel around the world. Yeah, okay. So I started reading. You know that besides England, there's another country you should know. Brazil, very good, right? Then he tell you all the history. Then that's how you get the guy reading. And actually, it's a business. Oh, it's a business. Okay. It's listed in the stock market. So that's how I start to appreciate reading. And one day, he started giving, I automatically started from the sports section, I moved on to world history. Because football is universal. Okay? So, I won't say that they are conservative in exploring individuality. There's this government everywhere in the world that they are racing and, finding a way to get as much investment as possible from MNCs to make themselves look good, because it's all about programs here. And in order for the MNCs to invest in your country, you must have collective action. They must find a government that have this good bureaucracy to serve their needs, not the people's needs first. The MNC's profit maximization needs. And to do that, the people must be disciplined, the workforce must be disciplined. Which means in what you have been brainwashed to hear, means you are very flexible, open-minded to learn new skills. You take it as, yeah, very good, but actually it is exploitation. You're not discovering yourself. You're open-minded to learn new skills. It's not a self-discovery, It's what the bureaucrats will tell you what you should do, and don't try to ask too many questions because your working life is only to 40. Past 40, you start to go old. It's bullshit. Some people Warren Buffett started at 60 to be what he is today, not at 50 or 40. Yeah. So that's the problem here. Everything is a military operation for a collective action. And they are still stuck in that system. So what people want to learn about Singapore? The bureaucrats want to learn about Singapore. If they can create a bureaucracy like Singapore, those people can stay in power for a long time. Because that collective action is collectivization, is empowering the bureaucrats as agent of change. They are like the market maker. They regulate the market. The MNCs will listen to them, work with them. But the individuals, they become obsolete very quickly. 40 years old, 45 years old. But your statutory retirement age is 67 years old. What kind of bullshit is that? You're old at past 40. At 67 is the statutory retirement age. So where's the 27 years then? What do? That's where your skills should be. So if you have been exploring self-discovery until 30-something, when it's 40, your skills are so good, nobody wants you to leave because only you have it. By default, all of us are different. I teach differently from other people. I can guarantee you, because my experience in life very different. You know what's my experience in life? I backpack alone. Alone, hitchhike. You go and hear anybody do that? Hitchhike. From Germany all the way Austria, Yugoslavia, which includes Slovenia and all these countries, so Montenegro, all I go. And take a train. Then I go America from Vancouver all the way down to Florida. Hitchhike. Alone, I take my own sweet time. No such thing as people, must book 2 weeks there, then fly here 3 days. No. I take my own sweet time. And you know how I take my own sweet time? I go to every hostel. At every hostel, I work. Do you have a place to stay? Yeah. You need someone to do work? Yeah. We need someone to paint. How much you going to pay me? Wow. Stay, plus got money to take some more. No bad, right? So tomorrow I say, can you cook? Can you? We got an event, you can cook. Pay you $300. Make money from traveling. My parents are like, how do you get to travel around the world for free? Oh, sorry, I made money from traveling. Okay? So that is really self-discovery. I learned about capitalism, I learned about socialism, I learned about communism, hands-on. So when Milosevic was bombed in Slovenia and all these countries, they were all like donating. They were very united people. You can see, oh wow, this is the real socialism that we see. You cannot break the network. Our socialism is bullshit. Only socialism. When it comes to election, got upgrading. They got nothing to do with upgrading. You can see the spirit of the people comes out. And from that spirit, you can see the artists, how they draw. Okay, the guy can sit there at the chapel down there, he play his music. Singaporean will think this fellow is siao. But he's not siao. He's a famous musician. I asked, hey, this guy, what is he? He's very famous. No, is it? But why is he playing here? He get inspiration from this lah. You think what, Singaporean must go to a proper studio first, then play? This is how they look at life. Okay? So if you do not have that, you're finished. Okay? Because you know why? Everything is redevelopment, modernization. You kill the spirit. Everywhere you go, just like the substation, or what is it called? They used to have a lot of musicians. I used to go there as a kid. Wow, people play electric guitar, all them shock. Wow, take drunk, then got drugs. All I never take drugs. Wow, this is called music. We got a lot of musicians, but today I don't see them anymore. What happened? You say when I go to the pub, I hear Pinoy singing song. What a joke is this? Where are our musicians? Wait. Singapore no musician. Okay? So, I wonder how is it like in Japan and South Korea? Is it all about compliance or they're actually more entrepreneurial than us? Definitely more entrepreneurial than us. You see, they got a lot of those local brands themselves, whether it's makeup, whether it's anything. Okay? So I'm telling you guys and ladies, do not be afraid to discover yourself. You're fighting against yourself, I'm telling you. I tell you, to be honest with you, I have to fight with my family about this. Hey, you don't understand this. No? It's all about self-discovery. But they say by the time you reach that discovery, you're too old. Yeah. But I know I don't have to worry about retirement because I had that skill. I'll challenge you on that. But anyway, you won't be around. I have to take care of myself when I'm old, right? So that's how I look at it. Okay? So a lot of people, the younger generation, sad to say this, you guys don't, like during your secondary school poly days, or A-levels, go and work part-time just to see what is the market like. I work New Zealand ice cream, Jack's Place, logistic company, NTUC, push, don't know this, do that, everything also do. Okay? And do a lot of things. And then I say, wow, so tough, business. Business so tough. So tough one. Wow. Then my friend became a very successful businessman. Okay? He owned from coffee shop to shipbuilding company, listed company. He didn't even have O-level, he didn't even have diploma. Okay, my secondary school friend. Went through the market. The market is where your skill you should learn, not the school. The school is a place for you to discuss and make all the mistakes. It's okay. The marketplace is a place also for you to go, it's a laboratory for you. Do not take the market as a place you go in there, manager. You'll never get anything out of it, I'm telling you. A lot of students I know, they go in there, I got degree. 3 years, I want manager. 5 years, I want CEO. 7 years, I want shareholder. After that, prime minister. Like that. I want to be GIC. So, you gotta know this, that Japan went through and Korea went through like us. They got Keiretsu, they got chaebols. Very bureaucratic system. But you know what happened? Their single dominant party collapsed. So the interest structure changed. The LDP collapsed. The LDP collapsed. So now you go Japan, you see a lot of small, medium enterprises come up already. Korea, Park Chung-hee, the student revolution, right? After the students' revolution, the people's revolution happened. Why? Because the students became entrepreneurs themselves. Because they were not able to get into the market. So the solution for Singapore is not personal freedom. Like you can go anywhere, take gun and samurai sword, shoot people or whatever you want. It's a market freedom. By the time the market is free for you to do whatever you want to do, you got no time for that personal freedom. That is the real personal freedom you want. I want to do everything. My skill. The self-discovery is very exhausting, That is the main thing that you should look at. That will reduce the inequality. You don't have to worry about poverty. We have the infrastructure, but we do not have the software. The software is self-discovery. It's just like how Bill Gates, you know what is his greatest patent? Nobody can ever be. After so many things behind his garage, his mother thinks he's mad. And the guy got ADHD also. My son is mad. He's Jewish, he's mad, and he has ADHD. But he discovered something nobody can ever break through. What is it? You don't know. You use until you don't know. It's called control, alternate, delete. That is the patent of Bill Gates. You try anything on your computer. Control, alternate, delete. Restart. Okay? So, that is all self-discovery. A lot of people, they take university degree as a signal, part of that collective action. I repeat myself, your university degree is a signal to be part of that collective action. Education is in crisis because the MNCs are moving to the next direction called artificial intelligence. Your signal It's not a good signal for part of the collective action. The artificial intelligence can do it more accurately and faster than you. That is why the governments are scratching their head. At this point in time, we are facing two challenges. One, pandemic, how to recover from it, so that the whole world will have vaccine, okay, we get out of it. Second, the rapid technological advancement of artificial intelligence and blockchain that can be faster than human. So yesterday I was walking at Raffles Place. You go to Battery Road, Standard Chartered Bank. My God, last time it was the whole floor Standard Chartered Bank. Now, half taken out. So that whole floor, only 25% now Standard Chartered Bank. 25% Kilini Kopi. The other 25% office space. So reduced by 25%. How many people have been removed? 75% of that space. So the collective action, basically, you have reduced the workforce altogether. You have increased the robots. But if you have discovered yourself that technology, AI or robots, will enable you to do better, that is the thing that we missed out. That's why liberalism is so important now, not neoliberalism. You want an interdependent world? Yes, of course you want, but the thing that has not been promoted or has been in place is the individuals that can use the robots to their advantage and create new industries, new services. Okay? So poverty, people have been talking about poverty. Now you can be an urban poor because you don't have the skill, your skills are obsolete. That's worse. That's worse. That's why the suicide rate will get higher because of that. And you're being pushed to work faster. You've been pushed to learn more. But at the same time, not discover yourself. Okay? So when people commit suicide, you know what? Usually their mind is gone already, then they commit suicide. It's not because they like, okay, let's go to the 10th floor like that. I tell you why I know this. Because my own cousin committed suicide. The mother made him do homework. Do until he went cuckoo. I was studying in England and I received, last time no email or what bullshit. So when I call back home, right, and commit suicide. Why he commit suicide? The fellow is mad. Yeah, he mad lah. So how? In the end, he, at 3 a.m. in the morning, he opened his exercise book. All the thing he cannot finish, he just write one piece of paper. Sorry, I cannot finish my work. See you. Bam. Jump off his window. So the security guard looked up, went to every floor. Hello? Can I ask if your son is in the room? You have a son? You have a son. Okay. Is your son in the room? Came to my uncle's house. I think it was don't know which floor. 8th or 9th floor. Then he went in to see, the door locked. Okay, I'll take the key. My son is not there. Why? Or you come down? Then he's like, He went down. He saw his own son there. And all the son was saying was, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Collective action. Everyday tuition. Who was the one who said everyday go tuition? Lee Kuan Yew. When I came back from England, he said, those of you graduates cannot get a job, please go and become tuition teachers. Singapore, all over the world, all over Singapore, you have tuition center now. Tuition is a norm. Paradigm change from my time. My time, I had no tuition. The way I teach is classwork, not homework. You want to do homework? No. Home is to rest, not to do work. If everything go home and do work, then come to class to what? Check leg. Cannot be. So that was my way of looking at things. I never committed suicide. So my nephew, right, when he, instead, my parents will commit suicide because of the way I behave. Ayo, my son damn naughty, Yeah. But nowadays, they say their son very smart. My father passed away. Gee, my son, very smart. Yeah, when he wanted to die at the time. Then my cousins all tell me, hey, your father say, you very smart. Yeah, he's going to die already. That's why he said this. When he was alive, and very energetic, every day he say, you see, you every day play squash, never read book, but going to die, very smart. Okay, and then people do PhD, like 3 years, 4 years, quickly get a job. I do 15 years. Go to 3 institutions. This one professor cannot bullshit. People say, Professor bullshit. You bullshit. I bullshit. Okay, so now I send in my thesis, turn it in. Similarity index, 7%. What is that? Novel or not? Nimpe, do it myself. Yeah, this is called 15 years of work. Yeah, it's just like, look, can you? He play badminton very different. I see very different. He trained himself on this one. I'm telling you. It's not whether who, whatever. He see the way, this guy is very different. The footwork very different. So my 15 years, right, when I send it, then the University of Malaya look at it. My God, this guy is genius. 7% similarity, Other people have to tweak here, tweak that to reduce until reach 15 or 20 or something like that. My first one going, zoom, 7%. Transformers here. Yeah. Okay. Why Republicans are expected to win the midterms? Because Biden is doing shit. He's a collective action, all talk, no work. Okay, basically he's continuing what Trump is doing in a softer approach. So might as well put a real cowboy in there and whack harder. You get what I mean? So you want to sanction China? Sanction properly. Don't talk shit. That's what they're saying. The American people are fed up because the Democrats will never be able to deliver economic nationalism. That's for sure. Okay? So you must understand Americans, they are very practical people. Actually, I like Americans. When you're good, they say you're very good. They don't pretend to be but when you're not good, they tell you straight to your face, your time is over. So they pay you well because you deserve it. Your skill is good. No such thing as try to network with him, maybe he give me chance, no such thing. You're not good. Singaporeans always like to, maybe, yeah, right. I just give you an example. So I'm the only squash player in that tournament, right? Republicans are liberals. No lah, Republicans are bullshit cowboys. The Democrats, the origin of the Democrats are liberals. But they pushed very hard in 1991 when Bill Clinton was there because of the fall of the Soviet Union. Remember that? And they wanted to continue the political project of Henry Kissinger to open up markets. But at the same time, the political objective was for America to be the hegemon. So it's called neoliberalism, financialization. So you centralize power at the American dollar, at Washington consensus, everything all. So in this discussion of economic development, we'll be talking about Washington consensus. That's how they enable the Americans to continue to rule past 1990 all the way to 2016. Okay? So Suche, did I answer your question? The Democrats, originally they are liberals. They became new liberal, collective action. But you ask me, Bill Clinton is real liberal. But he got no choice. There's a person behind him. He's so liberal that he even has affair with his intern. Individual capacity building. Hillary couldn't do anything. Okay? Yeah. So, Bill Clinton had a lot of jokes, All right. So, I hope you understand the difference between liberalism and neoliberalism. And collective action is not a good word, actually. But people will always say that you're anti-social when you're not part of the collective action. Okay, so a lot of young people, they get them fed up. Ayah, don't lah. Ayah, I just want to do my own things lah. Why? But actually, you are actually trying to discover yourself. So I always tell people, hey, just leave the guy alone lah. Why you want to push him so hard? Huh? Like my sister, and then push the nephew, push until the fella fed up. So I say, why don't you just leave him alone? Okay, let me talk to him. But when he talked to me, he very excited. Why is he excited to talk to me? I ask him questions only, like about what he wants, not what I think it should be, Wow, feeling cold already. Okay, so remember when you talk to younger people next time, all those teenagers there you see, ask them what they like. The world has changed. No more blackboards. Now it's iPad. Okay, so the world has transformed. It's going back to liberalism, trust me. This is the time for liberalism because the governments don't know how to control people anymore. Lee Hsien Loong don't know what to do. So transfer money to GIC first. In case there's a earthquake in parliament, okay, Chee Soon Juan go in there. Now you take out all the money, die. You get what I mean? You give to people and then people do not really discover themselves because it's like, looting like that. Just take first, take first. Even remember this guy called Tan Ji say, why don't you take out 200 billion, then you can have many startups, all bullshit. You don't need to give money to startups, one. You need the environment for startups, not the money. The software must be there. A lot of people do startups here is based on what they see on the internet and follow trend, That's not startup. Startup is based on your own self-discovery, then you start up. Okay? So please, political philosophy of Republicans. Go and read The Republic. Yeah, there's a book called The Republic. All right. That one we can talk about that later. Okay, now, in developing world, we have always been very focused on the very macro level there, poverty and inequality. But I want you to be more aware of yourself. Trust me, when you're more aware of yourself, even you have not achieved yet, you'll be more confident of yourself. You don't need people to tell you what to do. Seriously, I don't need to tell you what to do. I only tell you what to do for exams only. Other than that, I don't want to tell you what to do. I want you to tell me, I like this job, I like this sector. What do you think are the possibility? At least I hear no. But if you ask me, you tell me things like, hey, what do you think I should do? Hey, you think what? You're like my sister, stupid slut, don't know what to do. My sister like that, I don't know what to do. Don't know what to do, then go and die lah. Don't know what to do. My sister at time get it from me one. Because everything, Daddy, you see Sam, you see, he always bully me like that. Everything don't know, act weak only, act weak. Okay? So I hope you learn to discover. No, seriously, self-discovery is not easy for you all, I'm telling you. You ask yourself. You got one thing called mother, who are the nagging, they can talk to you since the day she conceived you, I beg you for 9 months. You know how much I struggle. Then after that, the next thing is that you go primary school. Primary school also can remember that. After primary school, secondary school, you never study so well. Your subject got what grade also they can remember. I also forgot. Yeah, you always be very naughty. That's the self-discovery. But you see other people's children, A to Z also they know. So they put synthesize. You should do this. Okay, so please don't do that to people. Always try to let them tell you what they like. Okay, so if the person come and tell you ask you straight, what should I do, right, without knowing that person or herself or himself. Of course, now I don't talk to my sister like that, that was younger. So I tell her, you should know what you want first. Doesn't matter, just try to know what you want first, not try to know what other people are doing. Try to know what you want. Then you will be very efficient and effective. You won't waste your time doing so many other things. You will spend your time doing something that you really can get out of it. Not today. For me, 15 years, I don't care. You can qualify me as a slow coach, stupid, whatever you want. But my similarity index is 7%. I did my own laboratory test in the National Library archives there. Take out. Count. Take out. It's just like, I never say I want to win a Nobel Prize. But I think that this is like a Nobel Prize for me. I award myself, is okay. You don't have to give me any award. As long as you read a book and you appreciate, I think I'm very happy. That's all I need. Okay? So when you are recognized in that way, all of us can do it that way. Imagine 10 of you here, or 11 of you here. You can do it that way. You have 11 winners? No. It's not easy to find a winner, no. The reason why we are continuing to only search for winner from abroad is because they never allow the self-discovery of our own students. Okay? So, when you read all these big picture shit, right, you got to be very careful. And the big picture shit is called gross domestic product that you read on the newspaper every day. They say that we have grown more than expected, but a lot of people are more disappointed than expected at the same time. Why? Because the jobs are gone. The jobs are gone. All the education they have are useless. I can tell you a lot of courses at SIM, SUSS are obsolete. I teach the students I know. What the hell? The real skill is you go into the market there, you learn that skill, right? So economics makes assumption. As I'm teaching them, you use this assumption. You must keep information asymmetric, but they never explain to you how. Why? Only way you can do it is you go in there. Oh, the fellow do this, then like that, then like this, like that. So how to overcome that information asymmetry to enter the market? You must be in the market. You observe the market first. Not at this library down there saying soon, Google here. Then you never experience the real thing. You know what? A lot of our students are like what? We train very hard, in the court, train 6 hours. When come to the match, lose. You know why? Because there's no match play. So the match play is like going into the market on the job training. You need to have match play. You are very good at training. You can give the content. So I ask you to do assignment is like match play. Then you can broaden up your discussion and this and that. Okay, so it's the same when you go out there. You have all the certificate. You know all kinds of theory, but you do not know the market well enough to understand what can you contribute. If you understand the market well enough, then you can contribute. That if everyone has a contribution, inequality will reduce. Okay, so you gotta have this paradigm shift, the attitude. Paradigm is like a multiple attitudes have to be changed. You cannot always just study for exams only. So the PhD is not an exam that, the fellow sit there, read your essay. It's something that you have to argue your way through. It's like fighting for your life like that. A lot of people go to PhD, they look at the screen until go bonkers, no. But I take my own sweet time because I know this one, if you push, show bonkers. So I just take my own sweet time. Sam, what are you doing? Taking my own sweet time. You forever then relax. No, you're not very relaxed. What? Knowledge is about what? Proprietary knowledge is about something new, no, not what is existing in the market. Some of these things are like when you understand power, right? There's an invariant meaning to power. What is power to you may not be power, or the meaning same meaning to me. But I must put myself in that person's shoe. That person is called Lee Kuan Yew. Then I read all about him, I think he looked at power this way. So when I write it, but it doesn't sound like him, rewrite again. Who is so determined to do that? Straight away people say dictator. Like that. Dictator! Okay, hold on. The evidence suggests otherwise. There's something deeper than that. telling me based on what you read, the similarity index is 100%. I want to do something called below 10%. The person look at me, what are you talking about? I want to show you a different side of Lee Kuan Yew. Because the person only understands Lee Kuan Yew as firm, hard, never really consider a lot of things. Okay? And he only give instruction. Wrong. Okay? So that's wrong. So remember this gross domestic product here is collective action. You know what does it mean? Average. Macroeconomics is about aggregate demand, average. So if 7 sector on average 3.5% growth. So one sector can be growing 10%, the other one is minus. Then you add everything, you average 3.5. Okay, so the tourism sector is suffering because you cannot travel in and out, right? Okay. But how should the tourism sector be in Singapore? You know, everywhere I go, as a tourist myself, the only thing that attracts me the most, especially in city, what attracts you to a city? What attracts you to the city? Cheap, That's what I'm saying. Culture, right? But what Singapore got what culture? Singapore got one culture. This Changi Airport, you take the MRT, wow, damn clean, damn fast. Wow, it's about clean and efficient. That's not a culture. That's a habit. That's not a culture, my friend. That's a habit. What's a culture? I give you one example. My friend, my friend who studied in England with me, friends. Last time we all stay, university halls. So they come to England, come to Singapore. Sam, you show us Singapore. Okay. I want to show you this. The history of Singapore. So I walk them from where, take the train. We got off from Lavender. Okay, walk. And then we pass Arab Street, all the way to Raffles Place, to Chinatown. Then back Little India. Okay? So this, like that. So first day, Arab Street to City Hall. So all these colonial buildings, Arab Street and all this, I tell them the history. Another day, City Hall to Chinatown. Okay? Another day, City Hall to Little India. There's a lot of culture there. I don't bring them to posh restaurants. Anyway, we all university students, all very cheapo, and we all go to those cheap places and eat fish and chips and all these things. So, but then we go and eat like kebabs and all these things. Okay, then I explained to them the Arabs in Singapore last time were from Yemen. Not just Arabs, not Saudi Arabian or Kuwaitis or like that. Why Yemen? So I explain everything in detail to them. But our tour guys don't do that. Straight away tell you go down there, got 5% discount there, 10% discount. Or that is the tour guide in Singapore. But what is the Singapore Tourism Board doing? They never talk to you about all these things. They don't sell Singapore that way. So you will ask me, tourism, is it there? It's not there. We have not really sell ourselves yet. We have not sold the culture aspect. So once the city becomes too modern, there's nothing historical anymore. It's very hard to sell. I go to Indonesia, my favorite is Yogyakarta. My favorite is Yogyakarta. Oh, the history is so deep and so deep. Wow. A lot of things there. They still got the horses down there, Cluck. Wow. Very exciting. Singapore don't even see one dog on the road. It's clean and efficient. Okay? So the GDP, it's collective action. But then, it's about this. Money values. Driven by how much income you generate. Not about how much the people, based on their own self-discovery, have contributed to the growth of the economy. So you want a future-proof economy or recession-proof economy. Is the people skills that are based on self-discovery. That is the recession-proof economy. Okay? So when you are able to cook well, right, you don't have to worry. Good food can sell. No? Sure can sell, right? Good artists can sell their piece of work. Sure can sell. Good musician, every song can sell. Right? But we don't look at it that way. We look at it from money value. Everything is about X minus M. Export must be greater than import. Import must ensure no inflation. So Sing dollar must go higher. Then the people are like, hey, hello, my skill how? Sorry, your skill, you wait first. Export must be greater than import. So you got one tuition teacher, econs teacher. His name is Heng Swee Kiat. We give you voucher. We got East Coast plan. Then people come Singapore. We export services. Okay? Good for you. The future is very bright. But the young people are like, what the hell is he talking about? No wonder get stroke. Okay. Then, the next thing that is collective action is about your purchasing power parity, which is the inflation that, you want to look at. So now, I ask you, if you're not sure, you tell me you're not sure. 6,000 ringgit, right, in Kuala Lumpur, what can you buy? Can you buy a house, a car, landed property? KL? Cannot. 10,000 ringgit? Not right, not at the smack of KL, just outside KL. Can. No, like you drive 40 minutes, can. Drive 40 minutes to the central. From, let's say, other parts of KL. Selangor, around Selangor, that area, going to KL. Can or not? Buy, I just ask you, can you buy, I'm not asking you to buy Lamborghini. I'm saying Proton. Don't tell me Honda Accord, what sports, got turbo, all this time I'm talking about normal car. In Singapore, you want to buy a normal car, your exhaust, you can only buy the exhaust pipe only, I tell you first. You hear the sound only. Every day you play on YouTube, wow, my car like that. Okay? But as far as I know, that people that make 10,000 ringgit, they can buy a cheap landed property just outskirt of KL. Not in the smack of KL, not like Najib like that, Oh, I want this one, last time Prime Minister. I'm talking about just outskirt. Just like now, you don't buy a house at Orchard Road You buy your house, they say Pasir Ris 10K can buy landed property in Singapore. Cannot then. But KL like that, you can buy what? I know you can buy. You can buy a house and a car. Okay? So I know you can buy a house, not right at the smack of KL, but a house and a car. Simple house and a simple car. Okay, let's say condominium. 10,000, can you buy condominium in Singapore? 10,000 Sing dollar. Can buy or not? You can't even buy HDB flat now. Okay. So you want to talk about the standard of living. 10,000 Sing. You cannot buy condo. You cannot own a car. Maybe you can own a car, but you cannot have both. Okay. And when you have a car without a home, then for what? Then you have a simple HDB flat, no car, you take MRT. Or they say, yeah, the MRT is very good. Yeah, right. Okay. But we take apple for apple. If you earn 10,000 US, you can buy a house and a car on the outskirts of New York, on the outskirts of San Francisco, and the outskirts of Ohio, not the city center. But 10,000 Sing, you cannot buy, you can only buy either one. Yes. A month. Can buy landed property. Then, I know those, I go America, I look at them. No, you can take loan, never mind. Yeah. You can take loan. 10,000 ringgit you can buy. 10,000 ringgit a month. You can buy landed property and car. You take loan. The bank will lend you. Not $10,000 a house lah. Walao. This fella, you mad or what? 10,000 who sell you? You sell you the pipe, oi. What? Orang dua. I don't care what car. So I went to, every time last time, because I then go Malaysia, right? Then they got this showroom at the shopping center, they show Proton Sports, no. Wow, them like Lamborghini engine, no. Then I ask, bang, berapa itu? Then I say, this one is 75,000 ringgit. I turn around, I curse PAP. Can't even buy COE lah. 75,000 ringgit with Lamborghini engine. Sure no? Test drive boleh. Okay, go test drive. Wah, whack Tiptronic. Wah. Hey brother, where you from? Singapore. Sorry this one I cannot test drive in Singapore, so I test drive first. On the road how much? Maybe you plus another few thousand ringgit, everything all 80,000 ringgit can. 80,000 ringgit convert. 21,000. Singapore buy what? Second-hand car left 3 years COE. So you ask me now, the standard of living in Singapore is lower than Kuala Lumpur. Don't take the conversion, but Malaysians have an advantage. They make here 1:3. They work 10 years, is equivalent to 30 years. So they work 20 years, they go back, Raja lah. Straight away the name Datuk. Okay, so you see, this is the collective action that all of us, we have no time to discover ourselves. As much as they say that, we want to give you a better standard of living, they push the prices up, the standard of living drop. You have no time to discover yourself. You are in a rat race to just get a simple house now. How are you going to discover yourself? Okay? No, I'm not saying that the Malaysians come expert. There are also very wealthy Malaysians that I know. They make a lot of money. They come here, got money to make. Why don't they make now? Of course. Okay? So this has got nothing to do whether they come here, they take our job. No. If you focus on one thing, your own skill, you don't care if they come from where. You sure got something that is different from the rest. In fact, they will work with you. You make more money. That's how we should think. Not people come and steal our job. What kind of nonsense is that? Because you are collective action, they steal your job. You get what I mean, not? If you are not part of the collective action, like me and that, Sam, I want to work with you, no, I want to work. Because I'm so special, I'm so different when I write things. I discover it very differently. Then people want to work with me. But if everybody is the same, you want to work with the same people or not? The bosses also not interested in you. Get cheaper one lah. 1:3 lah, so many. Right or not? So you got to really discover yourself. Do not go get excited about inflation rate, GDP growth. What's the next job that is available? Discover yourself. Seriously, you ask me, the badminton team, right? The coach discovered himself. He trained a world champion. You tell me how many people can train world champion? Seriously. From a player to a coach of a world champion. Not easy, no. Not easy. Easy not? You tell me. You may not be the champion, but your player is the world champion, and the player said this is the one. Wow, this guy got a prototype already, like, man, what best, man. Who's next, man? Come on, man, next. I got another prototype for you. So you see, he's living his life at the age of 32 only, the coach. Yeah. So that's how he struggled. I don't think he was paid very well, as a coach. He wasn't paid very well. But now, the world will look for him. You don't have to look for money. Money will look for you when you discover yourself. You don't have to look for money. Seriously. You just got to position yourself. Money come and look for you. Don't try so hard, no. Well, your mother say you must wear nice, sit for pay. What bullshit all this. Talk to people nicely. Who doesn't know that? But what do you have that you can overcome that inflation? Because you'll be the one charging people. Why you worry about inflation? Your skill is so unique. People are so willing to pay above market rate altogether. Okay? So they are all, crazy about this. About this purchasing power to sustain a decent living, that collective action. So sian. I hear also every day, I hear people talk, but money not enough, then how to, I study also irrelevant, then why you study that for what? No, but government say study good, what? Huh? Lee Kuan Yew your father? Is it Lee Kuan Yew your father? He say like that means like that, is it? Come on, guys, wake up a bit. You got to understand this. You got to explain this to your parents. The world has changed. No longer like their time, where they were poor, everything was ground zero, a lot of margin, just go there and grab whatever you want. Now, is real skill, You got the infrastructure for real skill, You got a real skill, you cash out one time, like who? I show you this one. This is from the market. This guy is mad. I show you this. We're going to go for a break already. Have you heard this company called Zinger? You know, right? This guy, Zinger, the guy doesn't want to let anyone take over his company until the price is right. $11 billion. So when he sells his company, he sits in Take Two. You know Take Two? Don't know. Then go and do research. I don't know. Everything don't know. Why do? I got different categories of my stocks. I learn from these people. Okay? This is self-discovery. This got nothing to do who taught him in school. So critical thinking is self-discovery. If you do not want to go through that, I'm afraid you'll be obsolete by 40-something. Doesn't matter your language good or whatever. Don't care about all these things, no. You don't care about things that you're not too good, no. You care about things that you are good, no. A lot of people keep, no, but my grammar, hey, come on lah. That one is later you can settle, use technology. There's this thing called Grammarly, word tune. They can do and change your words, don't worry. So what you write very well, but no substance. You must be good at one skill. You're very good at that skill. Okay, I want to make the best coffee. Wow, I'm going to add don't know what shit into it. Then people drink already. Wow, they drink, they can not only just wake up, no. They feel enlightened. Wow, you're right. Talk like a kid like that, Wake up like a kid like that every day. Every day I look at my thesis, I say, you know what? When people read my thesis, they're going to wake up and know what the hell these people were thinking. That's why I say every time. When people read my thesis, they will know what the hell they were thinking. And the professors, when they read it, nobody has written this before. And it's all based on data collected from the National Library, not other libraries, Singapore National Library. No bullshit. Okay? So I hope you do that. Because that is the day when you start to tell yourself, I did it. Doesn't matter at Warren Buffett 60 years old or 32 years old like Low Kian Yu's coach. It's not the age. It's the discovery, my friend. Doesn't matter you travel around the world at 70 or at 30, but you travel around the world. That's the most important thing. Okay? So let's take a break first before we go on and talk about the rest of this poverty and inequality.